Welcome to lesson 12, where we're going to be talking about relationship marketing. Now, relationship marketing is a one-to-one marketing prospecting process where instead of going to the masses, we're really trying to find individual connections, but potentially instead of going for masses that may not be interested, we're going for very deep connections with individuals that need a lot of convincing or that want to feel as though they're in a relationship with the person that they spend money with for this particular type of service. Relationship marketing is not always about the interaction that you have with the person in front of you. Relationships can be formed with referral partners as well as with customers directly. Now, networking events is a great way to consider exactly what relationship marketing is. In a networking event, you are meeting with a lot of people, you're building connections, you're getting to know them, find out what they're about, you tell them what you're about, and then you arrive at a decision or an idea that you need to either work together or refer that person to someone that you know who needs that service. So you have to develop a value proposition, you have to build rapport and a relationship, and one of the most impactful things is finding a strong referral partner. The chances of finding your direct customer at a networking event are generally pretty low, unless of course you're speaking on a stage with a lot of people that are there for that specific thing. So by going and talking to a person about what you do, ideally if that one person has a 1% chance of being your customer, then you're going to have to talk to a lot of people to find that customer. So a far more effective leveraged way to go is by finding your ideal referral partner. That is someone that works with your customer, knows your customer, or understands the pain point and perhaps can identify them on a regular basis. I often like to think of this as swimming lanes. You know, you've got your particular service and maybe they are in the lane next to you. Maybe they work with that customer before you or after you, or perhaps they just work with the same customer segment. For example, if I work with B2B companies more than $2 million revenue and 20 staff, then I might work with another business that has a similar customer segment size, because we might also be able to cross-refer clients between each other. And notice that I said cross-refer. In a referral relationship, it needs to be reciprocal. You can either do that through a cash transaction or some form of counter-referral. So the idea is to build these relationships so that you are looking out for the customer for each other, because one day that might come back positively to benefit you. Now, one thing I want to talk about is referrer activation. Quite often people go and get referral partners. They go to these networking events and they're structured to try and help you find referral partners. Everybody gets up, they give their 1-minute pitch or whatever, and then you're kind of expected to know, like, and trust them. And ideally, if you go on a regular basis, you build relationship, yes, you could probably get to that point of know, like, and trust. But a lot of these networking events are driven by some KPI metric on the number of conversations you had or the number of referrals you gave. It doesn't mean those referrals are particularly good. It just means maybe they're meeting their criteria. And sometimes that can lead to a lot of bad referrals, a lot of referrals that are not actually good for you, or you never end up closing business with because they were off the mark. And that person maybe didn't really understand the point at which that introduction is good. Or maybe they expect that if they send you one person that they're going to get some money back because, well, perhaps they thought that that would close, it's a done deal, when really it wasn't a good alignment. So referrers often say, yes, I will refer. Like, it's very easy to go, oh yeah, no worries, I'll refer, or I'll give you 10% or whatever. It's a throwaway line and it means absolutely nothing. Unless they're really financially incentivized to do something for you, they're probably not going to do it. Or maybe they've had that offer from 20 other people, so they'll take it with a grain of salt and really just don't pay it any notice. So referrer activation refers to literally activating your referral network. And to do that, you need to be in their conscious space. Like in a previous lesson, I talked about direct marketing. This is more indirect marketing. This is where you're talking to referral partners, perhaps adding value, educating them, building connection, staying in touch, and having that rate of contact. But the approach is different. You're not trying to sell them. You're trying to promote the fact that you understand this topic or this subject, or that you sell this product or service. And you're trying to educate and build rapport and relationship on an ongoing basis. So instead of just having that, I'll be a referral partner, yes, no worries, I'll send you leads or whatever, which just becomes a nothing throwaway line and generally doesn't happen. Instead, I'd much rather find a smaller set of referral partners that I actually have a deep values alignment with or a strong relationship with, and then maintain that very deeply over time. That way that person is more likely to refer to you, more actively engaged and looking for the right kind of person for you. Otherwise, it's all too easy just to say yes, 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 and then dismiss it. Now, referrals are like gold for two reasons. One, by finding a referral partner, instead of going through all that work and energy to go and find one customer, I can find one person that might give me 20, 30, 40, 50 of those customers. So I generally prefer to work with a referral partner first. The next thing that's valuable in a referral is that referred relationships are 5 times more likely to close because it's a warm introduction. The customer has some form of relationship with the person who's referred you and therefore feels a sense of trust. So that referral is warm. They are warmed up. They are ready and engaged and receptive to your sales conversation, rather than someone who's just come off the street, who's just finding out about your brand for the first time and is figuring out whether or not they can actually trust you. So in an earlier lesson, I talked about segments. I would definitely consider creating a segment for referral partners. Now, you can have different types of referral partners. I did talk about swimming lanes and people that work in and around your kind of business. They engage with the same type of customer, that sort of thing. The other great referral is your past customers. So those customers coming back and recommending you to their friends. This is more likely to happen in a consumer environment. However, in a B2B environment, it happens as well. And it is much, much more effective if this person goes, hey, I bought from these guys. I recommend them. They're worthwhile. Go and have a chat with them. Now, if you set the scene correctly, this will happen organically without too much effort, but you can also motivate it with discounts, rebates, whatever it is, commissions or something like that. So referrals are one of the most impactful things to help you grow your business. But early on, you may not have the runs on the board or the past history of customers to be able to pull from in terms of case studies, referrals, etc. So often it'll be about finding those B2B partners, building that rapport, building those swimming lane connections with people that work at or around or with the same type of client base as you. Some things that help drive this are trust indicators. This could be Google reviews. This could be case studies. This could be photos of you with happy customers, things like that. Video testimonials are great. The best word of mouth for you is not your word at all. It is your customers, your referral partners, and people outside of your business, because they're more likely to be trustworthy in the eyes of a new prospect. Another great way for this to occur is just simply to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't ask for a referral, more than likely they'll just say, oh, that was a great service. I'm very happy. Thank you very much. And then they'll go about their day. If you then ask them for a referral, they're more than likely to go, well, yeah, of course. I know 1, 2, and 3 people. Maybe it's only one. But if you ask them for 3 and they give you 3, or maybe they give you 2, and then you call both of them and only one of them responds, well, you've improved your odds. So ask them for a few referrals. It definitely helps. It can also help you to be very specific about the type of referral. You might ask, do you know anyone with this type of problem or in this type of business? And that'll help jog the memory or the idea or the thinking process of the person that you're asking for that referral from. Now, we talked earlier about networking events. Now, there are networking events and there are networking events. I like to look at the motivations of the events, the people that run them. So for example, in a franchise networking event, they're generally motivated to stay constrained within that group. Franchisors are looking for revenue from the members, and so they tend to be a little bit protective and not really kind of branch out from that group. Other groups in a licensing model tend to be a little bit more free and easy, but then they're all about the revenue, so they try and add as many groups as possible, which then waters down the size and quality of each group. So in order to create a healthy balance, it could be great to build your own network and potentially find other people that are good at building networks and collaborate together and find a network of network building advocates that work for each other. Now that's a little bit more of an advanced topic, but the idea is that by getting through the right number of people, the right quality, the right volume of people, you can actually do a much better job. So I would look at who's in the networking group and be selective about which groups you attend. If you're trying to work with big businesses, small business networking groups, probably not for you. If you're trying to work with small businesses, big groups are probably not for you. So you need to try and identify where is the right target market. Are they the right type of person? But you can't just give it one go and then that's it. You kind of need to take a long, protracted effort at making these things work, because people don't do things on the first interaction. You probably need to meet them several times. You probably need to meet them outside of the groups, jump into meetings, one-to-ones, have phone calls with them, go and have a coffee with them. And that will help you determine whether or not that group is worthwhile. After you've given it several attempts, you don't necessarily have to sign up for a member on everything, but for even for the free events, you can go a couple of times, get an idea for the right type of person or the wrong type of person, and then qualify out the groups that are not worth your time, and then qualify out the members that are not worth your time, and then try to narrow down on the value from there. Another concept you could think about is strategic networking. Let's just say you go and find a networking group, and then you need to be clear and communicate the type of person you're looking for. So remember I said that most people in a networking event are not your ideal target market. They are people also looking to sell, and you need to be very specific about the type of person you're trying to meet. I'd also think about being a go-giver. Give them an introduction, help them with some information, or do something that is positive in the network, because then people see that and then they'll start to reciprocate. So if you are going to networking groups, I would encourage you to go to at least 2 groups. That way, if you're in those groups, in group A, you can get to know people. In group B, you can get to know people, but you can then cross-refer between the groups. And by doing so, you're actually connecting more people with that go-giver mentality, where you're giving people something to respond to, as in that reciprocity. Then they're going to more likely refer you to people that they know. So by connecting the dots, you actually become a valuable resource and someone who's worth paying attention to. And so that attention pays dividends in the long term. The more that you can foster, develop and scale these relationships, the more likely you are to have a very strong and active referrer base. So that is relationship marketing. Keep an eye out for the next lesson.